Oprah and Gayle this weekend are in Venice watching their dear, dear lifelong friends, Jeff Bezos and Lauren Sanchez, get married, because that's what you do when you are Jeff Bezos and Lauren Sanchez. You invite only your close. I mean, you're literally one of the richest men in the world, worth $250 billion. So you'd make sure that you only invite the people who love you for you. You know, the people who were there before you built Amazon. You know, like Gayle, like Tom Brady, like all of the Kardashians who are there, like Orlando Bloom. It's super tight. Literally 2 out of the 6 space morons have been invited. Right? It's like Lauren Sanchez is one, but they invited Gayle and they invited Katy Perry, who's not going. This is exactly what Meghan and Harry did. The bigger your name, the more likely you were to get an invite, because what matters to them is that it's a star-studded event, not that they have dear friends who love them standing up for them when they take a sacred vow.
Yeah, I think there are only 200 guests. It's a for people this wealthy and famous and powerful.
Yeah.
It's a small guest list. And it reminded me, it's so funny you said Harry and Meghan, because I've never respected Reese Witherspoon more, because she was allegedly invited to the Harry and Meghan wedding, and she declined the invite saying, "I don't know them." And I thought that was so amazing, because like, I think there might be a part of me that would be like, I want to see the spectacle. I wonder what it would be like to like have a front row or a back row seat, whatever to it. But, you know, it was Oprah at the wedding. And it's also this kind of like, just like when I saw Tom Brady disembarking and Scooter Braun and a Kardashian, like all, like, I think Diddy's losing his mind at MDC
Jared
right now.
and Ivanka are going.
That's like, these are his people, oiled up Kardashians in cat suits, exiting water taxis, and obscene foam parties thrown on private yachts. To me, just my opinion, it feels very freak off adjacent. It feels very decadent. I wonder how much of this stuff is taking place on open water to get around other countries' laws, you know? It feels like a freak show, and it just feels very just like it's aggressively an FU to the rest of us who are just grinding it out day to day. I mean, look at her bouncing around. It is like bouncing around with her pneumatic boobs, and like like it's just disgusting. And you know, Oprah and Gayle, I have a theory. I just think Oprah's around too many dark people. I just think she is. And I think she's really soiling her legacy. And then how does Gayle King go back to CBS Mornings and her job and pretend that she's anything approaching a journalist running around with people like this?
No, it's ridiculous. And can I tell you something? So all I can think of, maybe it's just me because I'm, you know, really a regular person. When I watch all that foam on that yacht, I'm thinking, imagine, like, I'd be worried that my fancy yacht was going to get stained by weird chemicals that came from the foam. Like, this is so excessive. You have an enormous yacht. Your yacht has a yacht to hold all of your toys. And also, I'm told, Lauren Sanchez's weird girl pals who he doesn't want on the main yacht. And then on top of that, you risk spoiling your yacht with a bunch of foam that I went to a party one time years ago where they had foam in their huge swimming pool outdoors, by the way, in Texas. And it was super fun. That didn't pose any risk. We were outdoors. It was a big actual outdoor swimming pool. This is on a yacht. I just feel like the excessiveness of it is it's the same thing as like fanning out your money and with a middle finger in front of it for the paparazzi. That's who it is, because they call the paparazzi. I am 100% convinced. Yeah. I was just telling Paul Murray when I did his show on Sky News, I was just on a boat for a week in Greece. You know why I didn't get photographed on the boat in Greece? Because I didn't go call the paparazzi and say, hey, I'm on a boat in Greece. Come take my picture. There is a reason these two always happen to get shot while on their yacht. Same with J-Lo. Have you ever missed a J-Lo appearance on a yacht? Never. We just happened to see him smacking her ass. We just happened to see the foam party. So they want us to be looking at this, Maureen, which is a real middle finger with the money splayed out Marie Antoinette moment.
Well, later I want to hear all about your Greece trip via boat. But the thing so I also believe that this is, I columned on it for the Mail the other day, and I called it Jeff Bezos's big fat incel wedding, because I think so much of this has always been, ever since he split with Mackenzie Scott, and, you know, his relationship, his extramarital relationship with Lauren came to light. They've both undergone significant physical transformations. Her face has become a sea of injectables, a repository for injectables, as have apparently her breasts and her butt. Jeff has transformed himself into some sort of very taut, muscular, bald, glowing personage that to me resembles a walking penis. The foam party feels very frat boy to me. It's like, look at me. Like the foam coming out is like a huge ejaculation of like, look at my sexual prowess. I am a hot guy. And this one I'm marrying, I'm actually having sex with her. Can you guys believe this? Can you believe it?
It's so true. He does. I'm sorry. He does look like a walking penis. We showed this. I don't know if this is the before and after, but look at this. This is the before and after. This is what Jeff Bezos actually looks like on the left. And then here he is over on the right, post whatever he's doing. Maybe it's just hitting the gym in the same way Jennifer Aniston is just drinking a lot of water. But I venture to say some other things have happened there to make him look like that. But you're right. He's like so bald and his head is so round. He does look a little too taut, and it does give penis vibes. I'm not going to lie. It's not a good look for him. And I don't know what she's doing, because unlike him, she was more beautiful before. Like she was actually very pretty when she was just normal. And now, I mean, she's my age. I don't know what she's done. All I can say is I think plastic surgery is addictive for some people. And they think they've got to keep one upping. They have one thing done and they get compliments on it. And then they're like, oh, I have to have 10 other things. And then like when that procedure starts to wane, like the filler starts to like dissolve or whatever it does, they're like, I need more. And if a little was good, more must be good. And now she's made her face look like deformed. It's sad.
I also wonder how much of what she looks like now is Jeff's dictates. Like, this is what you're going to look like. You know, we saw it with Diddy, you know, the testimony, and it was in Cassie's original complaint where he made her go get breast implants. And she came out of that surgery and he was like, I don't like the way these look. And he took her back to that doctor and said, remove them and put new ones in. And there's, you know, that's a horror story. But I feel as though this entire thing is such a farce. Number one, not least because we just learned they got married a month ago. They've been legally married for a month. Right. Okay. So this is just a big FU. Look at how much money we have, the people we can buy. We can buy the city of Venice, which the residents, the Venetians, do not want them there. But I also think that Lauren Sanchez, we talk about this all the time. The more someone protests to the contrary, the more likely the opposite is to be true. Lauren Sanchez living her best life? I don't think so. I think she's paying a very, very, very high price to be the next Mrs. Jeff Bezos. And I think she has to look the way he wants. I think she has to look like a sex doll. I think it was his idea. This is just my opinion. For her to go to the Trump inauguration in a low-cut, cleavage-bearing tuxedo jacket, to have Mark Zuckerberg, another incel-y tech guy, openly ogle her, you know, and be shot by this is humiliation.
So let me say something about this. So you're right. And she is starting to look like a blow-up doll. And it's sad, too, because we have her before and after. She used to be very pretty. She was a news anchor. And she's a helicopter pilot. Like, she's not a moron. This is, I think, her, I don't know if she was married to this guy, but they were together. This is before. Who is it, Steve? Tony. Oh, he's a football player. Tony Gonzalez. Okay. And she's starting to transform. Then she marries the head of CAA, one of the co-heads of CAA, or maybe it was WMG, Patrick Whitesell. And that's when she reportedly had an affair with Jeff Bezos, and we all saw their steamy text messages, which had been leaked. He was still married to Mackenzie. She was married to that Patrick guy. And then she's changed just dramatically since she started up with Bezos. And I can't help but wonder, like, the amount of pressure that she's under, because it seems clear why he's into her, to not put on an extra ounce, to not let what happens to a 55-year-old ass happen, to like go yet another size bigger on the breasts, which she's steadily gone upward. I can't imagine living my life like that for the pleasure of somebody. And I guess the inherent deal is, but you get all the money. And it's just, I mean, worth it? No.
No. And, just from knowing what I've known just in my research on billionaires, like I doubt she's his one and only. I doubt it. She's the woman who is his official and who will accompany him to things like state dinners, what have you. But those guys, they're not really built for that kind of a life. And I think even in her choice of friends, again, like she did have stuff going on. She was a journalist. She was a helicopter pilot. She came from nothing and made something of herself. But she's in this position now in life, and she has access to the world's finest minds, and she chooses to befriend the likes of Kris Jenner, the Kardashian clan, and Katy Perry.
Well, that's actually what I was trying to get to, and I forgot my point. Why does he like her to be showing her ass in public, to be dressed half naked in public, to show up at the inauguration with her tits hanging out? Why does he like that? Because I can tell you, in my marriage, which actually is loving and fun and the opposite of miserable, Michelle, my husband does not encourage me to run around showing off my vag or anything else. In fact, I did one racy photo shoot when I turned 40 for GQ. I was pregnant with Yardley at the time, and I was like, what the hell? I guess it'll be a marker in time. And Doug thought he liked the pictures, and he was like, you look great, babe. He's like, I think that one gets it done. Like, and we made clear, like, I totally get what you were doing, no problems whatsoever, but like, wouldn't want to make this a habit. And I agreed with him. It's like, why does he want to see the love of his life showing her tits off to President Trump? I mean, it's a legit question.
No, I take it very seriously. I think there's a couple of things going on. I think, again, to the sort of idea that this is his teenage incel, this is his teenage dream of a wedding. This is his rage has come to the surface at all of the rejection that he no doubt suffered from women he felt he was punching above his weight, who he couldn't get with. As a teenager in high school, as a kid in college, he knew he was a genius. That was clear, but that wasn't enough to get the hot girl, the fun girl. So now we have to have Lauren Sanchez spreading her cheeks on his yacht and thrusting them at the nearest long-lensed paparazzi photographer so that he can prove his sexual virility while also humiliating her to a degree by making it clear on the world stage that she is an acquisition and she does what he says. Just my theory.
You're right. We have no idea. We don't know them personally. We're just observing based on their patterns of behavior. We are days away from what has been dubbed by some the Rio Reset, what some worry could be a threat to the US dollar's global dominance in over 80 years. On July 6th, BRICS nations, that's Russia, China, India, and Iran, and some more, are expected to unveil their plans to circumvent the US dollar, thus cratering, its value. Some report that they've already been laying the groundwork as their central banks have been methodically divesting from the US dollar and US bonds in favor of gold. How can you protect your IRA or 401k from the fallout from this landmark shift? One option is to diversify with gold from Birch Gold Group. Historically, gold has been a safe haven in times of high uncertainty, which is right now. Get a free info kit on tax-sheltered gold IRAs by texting the word MK letters to 989898. July 6th could mark a monumental shift happening among nations that control 1/3 of the world's GDP. Arm yourself with information to diversify your retirement savings. Text MK to 989898 and claim your free info kit from Birch Gold. Thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.